What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and I'm happy to have you guys here. You guys who are going to view this live, and you guys are also who are going to see it on the archive. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who checked out the videos I did on the recap of the first round and the second and the third. And now, guys, what I'm going to do in this particular episode, I don't have a lot of time today, man. I'm getting a late start. Got to keep my eye on the clock. I got only about 20 minutes, so I got to keep my eye on that. But what I'm going to do today, guys, just go through an overall, recap of the draft picks, whether I like them or not, and, just give an overall grade, and we'll do it like that. All right, so a couple things that we'll talk about real quick, guys. Again, shout outs to everyone who viewed the videos that I did. I mean, I had a huge showing on that. I appreciate that. And I know some of you guys may be coming to watch this today, so I definitely thank you for that. And thank you for all the recent subscribers. All right, guys, so let's get right to it, man. Like I said, I'm limited time today, man. I'm running short. Apologize for that, but let's go ahead and get right to it. So let's see what we got here, guys. Number one, let's talk about a couple things first. Last week, we found out Martavis Bryant is back in the fold. I know when we did the show last week, on that actual day, I was saying, hey, you got to let us know something before the draft. Come on, Roger Goodell, stop, doing what you do. Get your you-know-what out of your new you-know-what. And come on, let us know something. And lo and behold, an hour or so after I did the show, he's reinstated. That's huge. Which also is kind of funny, guys, because something happened in the draft, didn't it, that we wouldn't have thought would have happened when it did. We'll talk about that. So definitely glad to have Martavis back, man. I don't know if you guys have been following his Instagram and just other videos that are coming out. This dude has added about 20 pounds of muscle. He claims to be about 220, I think, right now, or 230, something like that, running 4.2s, 4.3s in the 40. I'm anxious. I'm very anxious to get back to seeing, what he has to offer. Hopefully he gets his head on straight. We know talent really wasn't a problem. He was on a rise, but his talent really was not the issue. It was, the drugs. So hopefully he got his head on straight. And I wanted to comment real quick, guys, on the thing, with him as well as Sammy Coates. A lot of people took that tweet out of context. And I said to myself, as soon as he tweeted out, hey, Schuster is taking Sammy Coates' spot, not mine, I'm back. I didn't take that as a shot because I just wanted to believe that he's just not that silly. There's no way he's just going to do that, knowing what he's facing, knowing he has an eagle eye on him. I didn't think that it was anything serious. I thought it was more of a joke. I saw Sammy Coates right back, ha, 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 ha. And then you see Mike Tomlin jump in saying, guys, play nice. And then even when they asked him about that, Rich Eisen asked him about it, and he was saying, hey, man, that's just, we have a lot of fun in that group. My guys are very competitive. It wasn't anything serious. And that's how I took it as well. And I will say this. If it was serious, let's just say if. Come on, Martavis. That's not a good sign. But I didn't take it that way. It's good to see that those guys can laugh and joke and play. And there you have it. And I want that competition. All right. The only other thing I'm going to talk about, guys, before I dive into the draft again, keep my eye on the clock. Zach Mettenberger, writing was on the wall. Pretty much knew that was going to be the case. Now, I see a lot of people saying that it should have been Landry Jones, but guys, let's not forget a couple things here. Landry Jones, though none of us have really been that happy with Landry Jones since he's been a Pittsburgh Steeler. We weren't too excited at the fact that he got re-signed, which we probably saw that coming. You look at the backup quarterbacks in the league. You consider this guy a backup. You're thinking Ben Roethlisberger is going to at least finish most of the games. Not all, because he hasn't done that in quite a few seasons. But you feel like he gives you enough to at least be a backup, 4 years under his belt. Though it hasn't been that great, I always said, in the free agency period, if we can sign this guy for couple, $4 million or so for 2 years, something like that, $5 million, I'll be cool with it. They did that. So it wasn't going to be Landry Jones. You knew it was going to be the outside guy, which basically is Zach Mettenberger, that was going to get cut as soon as they drafted a quarterback. So there it is. And yeah, I do agree that Landry Jones is not great. I understand that. But guys, just think about the NFL and how the Steelers do business. He's a backup. The last 2 years, he was supposed to be the number 3 guy. He ended up having to be the number 2 guy because of injury, and that was why they kept him. And like I said, the re-signing didn't surprise me. I didn't necessarily like it, but who else was they confident with? Now you draft a guy that you can bring in, maybe compete for the number 2 spot. Makes sense. So I knew Mettenberger was going to be the guy that was going to get the can. So, all right, let's talk about the draft, man. I'm not going to be too long with the first, few rounds or what have you, because I basically did that in my previous live streams. If you haven't seen that, man, definitely check out the channel. I have a video that I did on the first round pick, and I have one as well in regards to the second and the third. So I'll be very brief, being mindful of my time as well. TJ Watt, great pick. One could say maybe there was other guys out there, but not necessarily. If you look at the people who went off the board, and you're talking about an impact edge rusher, you're talking about like these top-notch guys, they were gone. The only other guys that were left was those guys who had upside, had potential, the Derek Rivers and guys of that nature. Look at Carl Lawson. Oh, wow, how far did he fall? However, the argument will be that a lot of people will say, look at Reuben Foster. He was right there. He went right after us. Inside backer. So I still believe that the outside edge rusher type of guy was more of the guy that the Steelers wanted to go with first. Vince Williams is in the middle along with Shazier. You think you got a pretty solid base right there. Of course, you could upgrade a little bit over Vince Williams. No disrespect to him. I love Vince Williams. Let me tell you something. Again, you guys know I'm a nose fan. I know Vince Williams. I love the way he plays. I love his tenacity. I love the fact that he liked to hit people. Or like my boy Tony would say, he liked to bust. He liked to bust people. You know what I mean? Love him for that. But wouldn't surprise me if you try to find another guy that can compete or at least be his rotation, because behind him is Metakevich, which I think Metakevich may come around. We'll see. And Steven Johnson. So I wouldn't be surprised going inside, but I didn't think that would be the initial need. Edge rush, I think, was it. Steelers like upside guys. They explained why they picked TJ Watt. I wasn't mad at that at all. I'm glad to see that they go after that type of guy, in the first round. Go get what we need, all right? And the theme of my overall view of this theme of the draft guys would basically be competition and needs. That was my overall theme as I saw the draft play out. And I'll explain that to you once we get to the end of this segment. But yeah, not surprised by TJ Watt. I'm happy with that pick. He has upside. Let's see what he got. Let's see what he has, man. Because remember, anybody in the draft, I don't care if you're the number 1 guy or Mr. Irrelevant, and you all can turn out to be a bust. So I don't get caught up in that. Again, do I have to remind us? Antonio Brown was a 6th rounder. So I don't get caught up in who should have went where, because you never know what these players are going to be. You know what I mean? I just focus on who are we going to pick based on what are they capable of doing, what kind of upside do they show, and there you have it. And excuse that chime in the background, guys. My phone is going off there. Apologize for that. So let's move on to the 2nd round pick now. This was the one that blew everyone's head off. Juju Smith-Schuster. Not because of who he is, but it's a receiver. Who thought we were going receiver in the 2nd round? Now, let's go back for a minute. I mentioned this in my other video, so I'll be brief. Who's the best receiver behind Antonio Brown? Who is it? We could all say Martavis Bryant, absolutely, but he's just coming back. We still have to wait to see if he's going to be available, right? To play. We don't know. I think he got his head on straight, but we don't know. So even after Martavis Bryant, who's the next guy? Who's the guy that you're confident with, that you think can make plays, big-time receiver, big-time possession guy, somebody you could trust? Who is it? Sammy Coates? He was early in the year. Okay. Broke 2 fingers. I bow down to that. I understand it's hard to catch. But even before he was injured and after he recovered, questionable hands, right? Then you got Kobe Hamilton. Love what he did for us on 3rd down last year, but is he really the guy that you're going to lean on? Now, I love Eli Rogers, but again, Eli Rogers is a slot guy. He's not necessarily that go-to guy, even though a slot guy could probably be classified as a possession type guy. Think about when Edelman and those dudes work inside. Love Eli Rogers. But who is that other complementary receiver? Who is it? Outside of Martavis Bryant, since we don't know what he's going to be. Not surprised that they went with a receiver, Very surprised that it was a second round. Have to admit that. Very surprised. Like the pick. Great upside. Young guy. Very young. Raw talent. Don't be surprised if he's competing for the slot position. That's going to be interesting. All right, moving on, guys. Got to speed it up here. I'm down to about 10 minutes left here, guys. Cameron Sutton, third-round pick. Love it. Love it, the fact that it's a cornerback. That's what I love about it. Now, we could all argue, should it have been Sutton? Should it have been Tankersley? You guys know I mentioned Tankersley. Now, it goes back again to need. What did I say? I think the Steelers' primary need is slot. They don't know who's going to play the slot, the nickel corner, right? Now, obviously, like I stated before, if Humphrey and all of those guys, all those top-tier guys were available when we picked even in the first round, maybe go after one of those dudes who's going to play on the outside, compete with Cockrell. But if not, let's look for a slot guy. Because remember, even with that, I said that most of those guys would be gone, but I said go ahead and get Trey White. Let him play in the slot. He was even gone in the first. So I figured, okay, by the time it gets to the second, third round, there'll be some corners there. But now you're looking at slot guys. Tankersley, that's a question people have asked me, would I have taken him over Sutton? That's a tough question for me because I don't know. I may have jumped out there and gotten Tankersley because, he's fast, he's a little bigger, he's an outside press guy, basically plays that type of corner. But where's my need? My immediate need is in the slot. We're not sure about the slot because you know why? William Gay played slot last year. You know why? We brought in Cody Sensabaugh for free agency to help with the slot. You know why? Sinquez Golson hasn't touched the field as an NFL athlete. That was your initial need. Get Cam Sutton. He was one of the guys you remember that I mentioned. I didn't mock him, but I said he's one of those guys I would like to see us grab possibly if available. Not mad at that. All right, James Conner surprised me in the third. Remember, I mocked James Conner, but I thought it would be fifth, sixth. Not surprised that they got him. It's funny, man. I got a picture that I saw. I forgot which site. It might have been NFL.com. I'll post it on Twitter. They showed it side-by-side comparisons with him and Le'Veon Bell. It's crazy. Same height. They had same weight. Where off by 3 pounds. Connor's a little bigger than him. I mean, the vertical jump, Le'Veon was 2 inches more. But everything else is like almost identical. There 40 times were, and it's slow for running back. We understand that. Bell was at 4.6, I believe, and Connor was 4.65. Crazy how alike they are, but still change of pace because Le'Veon is shifty. He's a big back. He can bruise too, but he's more shifty. Connor is going to hit you right in your mouth. Great backup right there. I love that. I love the idea of having him come in and spell Bell. That's going to be pretty sweet. But I thought he would go later. I didn't think he was going to be in the third round. That was a shocker to me. I wanted to get somebody like Rasul Douglas or somebody like that who was actually gone. So couldn't grab him. Also, and there was a whole lot of guys. And again, I don't have a lot of time here, guys. I'm trying to speed through it. But there was a lot of guys that went off the board that we talked about. Obi was gone. I mean, when you look at the time in which the Steelers got these guys, I understand it. Let's see who else we got. Joshua Dobbs. Did I not tell y'all? Did I not tell you that Joshua Dobbs was going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler? Thought he would have won in the third round. I thought he would have taken I think I mocked him to be the first or the second third round pick. I don't remember, but I thought he would be that position or that pick where James Conner went. If anything, I thought it was going to be corner and quarterback in that round, or perhaps safety and cornerback. Excuse me, because I thought second round was going to be a corner had we gone edge in the first, which we did. So that surprised me a little bit. Brian Allen out of Utah. Now, this guy intrigues me, man. I don't know if you guys, and excuse the air condition coming on, y'all hear that. But I don't know if you guys listen to the Terrible Podcast, with Dave and Dave, and they from time to time they have a guy named Dave T that comes on. He's like an NFL, I believe he's somewhat of a scout, or he might be an executive or something of that nature, but he always gives his opinion on guys. He was very high on Brian Allen. I didn't know anything about him, but after looking at his measurables and his tape, very intriguing. This dude is 6'3", 200-plus pounds, converted receiver. That means he has hands. He has ball skills. Go look at his highlights, and you can see what he can bring to the table. Now, who knows how well a corner he is in terms of playing, in the NFL level? I don't know. Training camp will sort all of that out. But I like what I see in the measurables and his film, and the fact that he has hands, ball skills. He was a receiver. He's going to be known as a press guy. This is going to be interesting, man, to see what's going to happen with him. I think he makes the team. I think he makes the team as an outside corner, a rotation guy, maybe even battle Ross Cockrell. We'll see. All right, and last but not least, well, two guys, Colin Hoba. I think that's how you say his name. Long snapper. Didn't see that one coming, but hey, who am I to judge? These NFL guys know what they're doing, I guess. Listen, Greg Warren has been with us for 13 years. Maybe it was time for a change. I'm not mad at that. It's 6th round, And that kind of contradicts what I said earlier, right? When I said 6th round is you never know who you're going to get because you get an Antonio Brown. And now when I talk about this guy, I say 6th round. Who cares? A little bit of a contradiction there. I know y'all. Go ahead and kill me for it. But it is a later round. You're taking a chance because even with Antonio Brown, who knew? You know what I mean? He was very talented, but it's the reason why he fell. Look what he ended up being. I'm glad for it. But what I'm saying is 6th and 7th round, you're just taking chances on guys, and I would have to feel like this guy must have been a need. The reason why they got him. Now, he probably would have been there in the 7th, so that's the only thing I would question. Why take him in the 6th? I'm sure he'd be there in the 7th. I'm sure there would be some undrafted long snappers. You may not have even had to draft guys. But, hey, if they felt like that's who they wanted, Kevin Colbert explained why. I wash my hands to it. I can have my opinion. I'm not in the front office. I'm not a professional NFL scout, so I can't say much about it. And last but not least, Keon Adams, man, this kid out of Western Michigan, listed as the DN, but I'm sure he's going to play more, possibly linebacker for us, maybe a DN. But what's interesting about him, man, smaller school, not a well-known school. I mean, everybody knows Western Michigan, but not, a power school. Go look at his film, though. This dude shows some potential to me. He has a little bend to him. When he goes around the edge, he can get to the quarterback. He seems to be a guy that has a lot of effort. This could be a guy that could be a sneaky, contributor for the Steelers. Again, think about guys like James Harrison and how they started out. Just watching him, man, I like what I see from him. Our room is the linebacker room is light. There's not a lot of guys there. You got guys like this guy now and Chicolo and those type of guys, Fort, that are going to battle. Keep an eye on this guy. He's going to be an interesting person to watch come post preseason, as well as Brian Allen. Those two guys I'm really going to have my eye on. I'm pretty sure Dobbs is going to make the team, obviously. Cameron Sutton, I expect him to make the team, obviously. And, of course, Watt. And, of course, Smith-Schuster. Going to be very interesting, guys. So, apologize I couldn't go into depth as much today, guys. Excuse me again. Running a little bit late, man. I got to get myself back to my day job. So only got about 2 minutes left here. I'll give my grade. I will say I'm going to give us I'll give us a B. I'll give us a B, and I'll explain to you why. I'm grading us more so on what we went after and players, as well as when we got guys. Now, the reason why it's not a B plus or an A minus, anything like that, A plus, is because, and it's not because of the way we picked, it's more so who was available. I can't give a high grade when certain players weren't there, if you understand what I'm saying. The Steelers had to pretty much go with who was there. Even guys like Sidney Jones that we thought was going to fall to us in the 3rd, he went in the 2nd. See what I mean? It was just so much talent coming off the board that we all talked about. So I can't give them a high grade because there's certain guys we all may have liked to have seen more so than some of the guys we got. However, based on the talent that we have, I like it. It's a solid draft, man. TJ Watt, I think, is going to be special. He's going to be a good guy. I see even on like Sports Illustrated, they've given him a B plus. Guys like Smith-Schuster, they gave him a C plus. I think he's going to be a little better than that. I think he's going to be a raw talent. It may take him a little while to get acclimated. but we'll see. He's young. He's young. I'm not expecting a lot from him, but what if he wows us? You see what I mean? Guys like Cameron Sutton, I think that was a solid pick. James Conner, solid pick. Just wasn't sure about him going in the third round, but absolutely a solid pick. Love Joshua Dobbs because, again, guys, we have to remember he's a backup. Probably going to end up being the third quarterback. Why are people so mad about that? This guy has talent. He's a smart guy, good character guy. Why are we upset that the Steelers drafted him? Who else should they have gotten at that time when they got him in the fourth round? I mean, I don't get it. We all know Ben Roethlisberger is not going to be there forever. Even the front office is saying this is not the heir to Ben Roethlisberger. So why not take a chance on him? He could end up being somebody. I don't get some of you Steelers fans sometimes. I got to call y'all out. But that's all I got, man. I'm sorry for rushing through this one, guys. I can't even get through the comments. I want you guys, man, if y'all can, please leave your thoughts and comments here. I see a lot of them here coming in. And my man still says Landry is trash. But you guys who are going to see this on the rebound, and even some of you guys who are watching this live, man, please do me a favor, man. Come back and comment, because I want to engage with you guys, and I will try to respond to every comment because I want to have some conversation going. Again, I want to extend the invitation for any of you guys who ever want to be a part of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I can get you on. I do this via Google Hangout. All I need is an email address. Have you come on. You can show your face or not, but you can speak. People can hear you. There you have it. So definitely want to get this going a little more formal, get an actual time where I can do it every day, every Tuesday, and, make this thing happen. Oh, yeah. I do see one comment I gotta respond to. Stephen Pahads or Pahads. I apologize, my man, if I'm saying it wrong. You're right. Myrick was still there. We should have definitely taken him over the long snapper. Now that I think about it, I don't know why you draft the long snapper. It's the only one that I kind of I ain't like that, but it is what it is. So, all right, guys, I got to go, man. I apologize, but please share your thoughts, share your comments. I will be back. I want to interact with you guys, man, and we can carry this over into next week as well, reflecting back on, how we're feeling maybe after the rookie mini camp and things like that. So we'll have a lot to talk about then. And that's going to do it, man. I'm right here on time. Got to get back to work. So, again, let's wave the towel. Here we go, Steelers. And I'll catch you guys next week and in the comment section. Don't forget, if you're new, subscribe to the channel, man, and cut on your notifications, all of you guys, so you know when a new video is available, as well as I promise, it never hurts you to hit that like button. All right, guys, I'm gone for real this time. Peace.